This Golf, when it arrived, I thought there's no way that I'm going to be able to fix this.
Do you want me to help you?
When you break it down into one problem at a time, it actually becomes doable. There were a lot of problems to solve on this car, but at the end of the day, that's why we're here. It had lights out, water pouring through the boot, it had rusty arches, rusty sills, awful wheels, bad brakes, dents and dings all over the place, panels that didn't fit, and just everything really needed, every corner of the car needed a bit of attention. But as I say, that's why we're here, and I rebuilt it in the last video but pulled it back apart again. I wasn't quite happy with the colour, I had loads of paint left, so that wasn't a problem. But before I show you the finished result, because it is finished now, I want to touch on the wheels that I said I was going to show you in the last video. I know it looks like quite a bit of hard work for just some alloys, but this whole project's about basically seeing what you can do with a small budget, seeing if you can improve that budget and go up in value with these cars. So these wheels I got off Gumtree for 70 quid, and they were, I'll show you the pictures now, they were a real mess. Two of them weren't too bad, so I've actually got away with not having to shop blast them. I've just sanded them back a little bit, painted them and clear coated them, but these two in particular were in a real state. The paint were falling off them, so these have had to go right back. I've had to take them down somewhere, which only 15 quid to get them shot blasted. It only took a day, and then it's just taken a bit of time to sand them back to where I want them. So this is kind of the process behind that, and I think you'll like the end result, to be honest. It's quite a simple thing to do. It is quite time consuming, but very cheap, and if you've got the patience, it's definitely the way forward, rather than spending hundreds of pounds on new wheels. Now these wheels are pretty much where I want them on the face. Obviously, because I've shown you before, these have been shot blasted. The pitting round them, due to the sandblasting, you really need to be careful with, because on the bead on the inside where the tyre sits, that ends up being really quite rough. So if you don't sort that out, you're going to have problems with the tyres leaking. You're not going to get a proper seal around the tyres. So what I'm going to do now I've nearly got the faces where I want them, I'm going to flip them upside down, and I'm going to clear coat the insides and all around the edges, around the underneath where the tyres go. This will sort out obviously any leaking issues later on, and they do need to be clear coated anyway, because if you don't, alloy corrodes really quite easily, and if you do let it corrode, you get leaks with the tyres. All your clear coat underneath, it'll start cracking and falling off, which you see really on any diamond cut wheel, to be honest. If it's kind of hit a stone or anything like that, and then you start jet washing them after a year or so, you get the water underneath the clear coat, and it just ends up being a bit of a disaster. So I'm going to flip these over, get the underneath and the inside where the tyre goes, get all that right, and then let that dry overnight, and then tomorrow I'm going to finish off the actual faces, the diamond faces. I mean, obviously these aren't diamond cut anymore, they're just going to be polished faces, but I'll do that tomorrow, and then I'll clear the face of them tomorrow, and then that should be all it needs really. Then I'll give it a few days, maybe a week to dry, and then get the new tyres fitted and get them mounted on the car. Now, very, very importantly, when you're doing any kind of spraying or clear coat or anything like that, is surface prep. So this is a proper surface prep. It takes all like the oils, anything like that off the surface. Obviously when you start touching it with your hands, the oils out your skin can contaminate the clear coat and end up with all kinds of funky reactions, which is very annoying once you start spraying. So the key is clean everything a million times before you start painting, and you shouldn't have a problem really. Now with this, obviously it's just alloy wheels, and you're not going to see this really. I mean, you might see inside the rim, but it doesn't have to be a show finish, because literally the first time you drive it, you're going to get coated in brake dust. So I'm not going completely to town, but the cleaner they are, the better they're going to look. Now we've gotten to this stage to go back over, and basically I'm just going to refine the surface of the wheel, the actual face that you see, with some 600 grade and the dual action sander. Get them really quite smooth. The 600 is absolutely fine for what I'm going to do next, and I'll show you the little trick that I used. Basically bolt the wheel back to the car, get the wheel turning, and then use a scotch pad, but only touching the scotch pad on quite lightly. And if you do try this at home, make sure you do it the right way around, because if you get the rotation of the wheel wrong, you're probably going to lose your fingers. So if you don't understand the right direction the wheel's turning here, then don't try this, because it's going to end badly for you. This leaves a perfect circular scratch on the wheel. The scratch is always a good idea because it helps the clear coat key to the actual metal of the wheel. So now it's clear coated and it's baking under the UV lamp. I'll show you now what they look like. They've come up lovely, to be honest, to say that they were an absolute mess when I bought them. Enough for making things look pretty. Let's get back to the real world of mending cars. So the first thing I've tackled here is the ABS module that was broken. This I think I got for 17 quid off eBay. Sits under the dash. It's a bit of a pig to get to be honest, just because you've got to be a contortionist to get your angles on the spanners and things like that. But that was showing 3 faults. Once I plugged the new one in, it was showing about 25 faults. But after the code got cleared, that's it. It's all the faults disappeared. Steering wheel next. This kit from Furniture Clinic to repair your steering wheels or any leather is brilliant. So if you have that job to do, buy this. The instructions make it so easy to use. If you follow it step by step, and the results are always, well, they're just fantastic, to be honest, for a simple kit. This kit you could probably do about 10 steering wheels. There's enough colourant and things like that. It just makes the steering wheel feel brand new again. See there, the new gear gauge on as well. Next on the list with the new bonnet release handle. That's a really simple fix. It's just 2 bolts, slip the cable in, job done. Then you clip the plastic panel over it. That's it, that worked immediately. Right, I've got a new rear wiper arm and wiper. I think that were about 8 quid off eBay. Can't believe how cheap some of the parts are with this car, I really can't. And £2.50 for a new aerial. First thing is you just want to loosen this nut. It's just a 13mm. Don't take it right off though, just loosen it a little bit. And then what we've got here is a press. But you're going to be very careful not to press on the squirter itself, because you squish it and then that's just a bad day. So what I'm going to be using is an 11mm socket that goes over but sits on the bolt. And I'm going to use this pull. two little things make a big difference. All these little bits, they're the bits that matter. They, like I say, they don't cost much, they're quite easy to fix. 5 minutes, both jobs done, about less than £10. Brilliant. Now for the two jobs that I've been dreading. Now, I haven't really done welding before, and after I ground this sill out, it were a mess, and the boot as well. I'm going to do a smart repair on this tailgate, but when I actually started to rub it down and prep it, I realised there were a few other little imperfections in it. So along with the other side sill, which just had a few like rust dots on it, so obviously that got sanded back, the rust got treated, but there were no actual metal fatigue really underneath that side. That were fine. But as I say, the tailgate, I found so many imperfections, so I just decided to repaint the whole thing. Again, originally I bought too much paint, so it wasn't a problem. I had enough paint to do. I probably had enough paint to paint this entire car, in fact. So the rear bumper, this is a rear bumper getting done. This is actually the black section. So the reason it's yellows, it's because it's got a high build primer. This is the new sill I've actually welded, and then found this product online. It's the actual OEM stipple for these sills on Volkswagens and Audis and things like that, and it looks really good once it's on. Actually, it looks really authentic. So now basically, now all the rust treated, all the bits have been fixed and things like that. It's just a case of painting up all these parts that are prepped. So I'll show you that now, and then we'll move on to the next step. There's the new sill. I'm more than a little bit proud of this, to be honest. To say I haven't really welded before, it's come out absolutely brilliant. You can't really tell at all. It looks really OEM. So finally at the back, the last thing to do, we'll just do the rear brakes, and then it's on to the service. Service kit off eBay, 50 something quid. It's got the engine oil filter, fuel filter, air filter, cabin filter. So first thing to do is just to replace these filters, starting with the diesel filter. Comes with a new O-ring as well, so everything's sealed up nice and tight. Next is the air filter. These are really easy to do, just a few screws, lift the top off, slip in the new filter, job done. Oil filter next. Quite accessible on these cars, it's quite easy to do. Drop the oil out the bottom, being careful to actually get it to land in your oil pan, in your oil tray, otherwise you make a big mess. It does look quite black, but it's a diesel, so I think all diesels, the oil looks black after a while. So, and this cabin filter is disgusting. I don't think that's ever been changed by the look of it. Next, a couple of little final touches, new badges. Got the Golf badge, TDI badge, and then a new badge for the front bumper. These little bits of a good machine polish, MOT, it passed with flying colours. It were no problem at all. It just needed one more bulb, a side light bulb, and this is it finished. The transformation compared to what it came like. There was a point where I thought this is going to be impossible, I'm not going to be able to do this, but it's taken a bit of time, not actually as long as I thought, to be honest, and with it being bad weather, it's in the middle of winter in England, so it's not possible to be outside working on it every day, but clean little car now. So obviously the aim is to repair this car and then fix it up, sell it, see what we can get and spend the money on the new project. So what I'll do now is I'll put on the screen exactly what it's cost me to get it to this point. It's not too bad actually. I did spend a bit more than I wanted to, but to be honest, looking at the prices online, I think it is going to make money. It's not going to make a load of money, but it is going to make money. So we'll get it advertised, get it sold, and then keep watching the next videos because I've got my eyes on a few projects, the next cars. So we'll see what we end up with, see what actual profit we do make from it, and see what we can spend on the next project. I hope you like watching this, and if you want to see more, please like it, subscribe it, and keep watching. Cheers guys.